She struggles for every breath. This rhino is lucky to have survived. Rhino poaching has reached record levels. The horns are prized in Asia, particularly China and Vietnam, for traditional medicine and to display wealth and status. Drones, dogs and military tactics are being used by the government to try and stem the bloodshed. The operation has had some success, but more than 1,000 South African rhino were killed last year. Rhino breeders say that's proof the protection at all costs approach isn't working. They want a domestic trade to be allowed, and it seems the government agrees. But the trade would also allow someone to take 2 horns out of the country at a time, as long as they promise the exports are for personal use only. The Worldwide Fund for Nature says there's no way to ensure that.
So I think the real concerns are around laundering of horn. We know previously loopholes were exploited to get horn out of the country. And I think there are very real concerns that similar things could happen to introduce illegal horn into these new proposed legal mechanisms.
To some extent, the government may have been forced into this because it lost a court case last year brought by 2 rhino breeders who want the moratorium on the domestic trade lifted. The final decision is up to the Constitutional Court, but this draft legislation seems to suggest the government is expecting to lose there too. This is how the government says it will monitor the horn trade. It's building a DNA database of poached rhino and the animals bred by farmers, so any horn caught at the border can be traced to either a legal or illegal source.
If a person has to prove legal acquisition, the genetic profiling report is one of the documents that needs to be submitted as part of the application process. So if it was an illegal origin, we would be able to pick that up.
Rhino breeders try to preempt poachers by sawing the horns off. A legal trade would mean they could cash in their stockpiles. But conservation groups are unconvinced South Africa will be able to monitor and manage any trade in rhino horn when it can't stop 6 tons of poached horn from being trafficked out of the country every year. Tania, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.